Hi, and welcome to my life in sunny Central Texas. It is another beautiful, warm, clear day. Sometimes in January, clear is not good. I used to do search and rescue in the Rockies in Wyoming. And a clear night up there will mean there's no cloud layer holding in any heat. You don't want to be out in those conditions. Now, not so much. A clear day means the sunshine can get in. And that's good. So I'm out here with the little dog. Come here, buddy. Come here, come get a hug. One little dog. Big one across the street tied up. He's making a lot of noise about it too. I can hear the traffic out on the highway. I'm a good quarter mile away from the highway, I think. I might check that next time I'm in my vehicle. But I can hear that, and I can hear an aircraft. And this is agricultural country for the most part. So sometimes aircraft are out spraying fields. Sometimes they're just out because it's a beautiful day. Sometimes people just need to take a look around and say, yeah, it is a beautiful day. Me and the Chihuahua are liking it, and that's cool. But it's that time of day that I'm supposed to eat something. We've got our eating window down to noon to 6. So that's a 18-6 intermittent fast. Which does give me a lot more time for autophagy. Which I hope will help this business. I'm tired of it. That business, sometimes people notice this. I keep snipping the necklines of my shirts. Not because the scar is uncomfortable, but because the shirt is inadequate. Most t-shirts made for men have plenty of fabric across the upper body. And then women have a little narrow strip next to this shoulder and a little narrow strip, and then it comes to a full width further down. And then maybe on the waistline they'll have a regular amount of fabric, or at least sufficient fabric. But I kept having that less fabric area being so tight that the shirt would ride up and bunch up above my chest. So I started cutting my shirts. Solved the problem. It's simple physics. If you don't have enough fabric and you stretch it beyond what it should stretch, then you're not going to have the ride. The fabric might technically fit, especially when you try it on in the store, but you wash it once and then it starts riding up, and that ain't fun. You don't get the look you want. You don't get something that fits nicely. And now that I'm starting to be a fair bit smaller below the chest, I'm hoping that'll change. I'd like my shirts to ride correctly. I have a few that are not snipped right now, but for the most part, the first time I wear them, snip, snip, right in the front. Scissors are great. When you think about it, just a little fabric here and a little fabric here, and getting down, they're cut to be a disaster. It's kind of like women's clothes and pockets. Of course, there's history there. Women's clothes and pockets often led to pockets containing contraband. So whether it was drugs or other people's possessions, I mean, there's lots of people in the world who lean that way. For teenagers, it might be a flask of some cigarettes. I don't care, not my problem. My problem is how to make my clothes fit and how to have pockets. Now, you can create a waistband with pockets and wear it underneath something, but that can be a little difficult to use. You can buy such a thing. They call it a money belt, and there's other things. You can get a pouch that's meant to hold your good stuff, and you can put it above one shoulder and under the other so that your pocket rides right in the front and you don't lose anything. Short of someone knowing it's there and cutting it off of you. Sorry, I'm trying to see my phone screen again. I can tell where the button is for my video, and that's about it. It's over here. But the sun is warm on my back. My truck is just around the corner from the front door. In my regular parking spot, there's another truck, used to be the father-in-law's, the late father-in-law. That's why we have it now. But it's a nice truck to have. It's not a specialty vehicle. It's not got a cap on the bed or anything like that. And it is up for inspection very soon. Now, I got some decent tires on it not too long ago, and it really hasn't gotten anywhere since. If I didn't have so much arthritis that occasionally shows up, I said my right elbow, my right wrist, usually a finger, but not today. But my elbow and wrist have me not wanting to drive a stick. Especially one that's a little bit on the stiff side. Needs a little spray graphite or some lithium lube or something. You know, there's always something. I don't know what specialty lubricant you put on a shifter. But that truck can turn a sore elbow into a nightmare in no time flat. That's okay. I still like it. It's an '01 Dodge. It's a Ram 1500. I can't see from here. I think it's a V8. It's got plenty of power to pull. It's got reasonable bed space for not being... It's not an extended bed. It's a two-door cab with a back seat. And I can tell you that back seat's kind of beat up. When it came to us, it was already kind of beat down from the father-in-law loading it up with grandchildren and taking them to go do things like, here, you, get in. We're going to go take all the trash down to where the neighborhood drops off their trash. Or, you need to go to Walmart? Well, get in the truck. I'll take you into town, we'll go to Walmart. I think a lot of times they used mother-in-law's car for that because better seats. I think that car also wound up with one of the nieces at some point. scratch your head. Oh, I'm having a much better day today. My outlook, my mood has improved because I hit Tai Chi last night. And I was tired of being inactive. People don't realize that the more you do nothing, the more inclined you are to do nothing. And then you just go downhill from there. So when I say I want you to be okay, that's one of the things I'm talking about. You know, if you eat from, say some people like to eat in the morning because they like breakfast foods. So they eat breakfast and they have a good solid lunch and then they're good till the next day. I mean, they might still have an 18-6 eating window, whatever. I have someone in my life who thinks it's more important to skip breakfast. Okay, we'll skip breakfast. I can eat breakfast food at lunchtime. I have to decide if I'm doing that today or not. I haven't made up my mind, and it's after 1. I should probably do that soon. That's okay. Right now it's fresh air and a little bit of a breeze and the sunshine on my shoulders. And my glass is sliding too much. I should get the other pair out. But once I'm in the wrong glasses for the job, then I'll probably wind up on my computer poking away at a short story I'm trying to write. But if you can't get your ducks in a row and your brain is like chickens at a rave, then it goes slow. But there are things you need to do if you've had a TIA or a regular stroke. Regular ones are potentially deadly. Or anything that affects your brain, an aneurysm, an illness that affects your brain and causes brain damage, then you have to think about the nutrition your brain needs. It's not quite like everything else. You have to think about what it needs to recover. If you've been on statins, then you need to get off them and do something that will not rob your brain of all the cholesterol. I mean, if your brain's going to be made out of cholesterol, then you probably don't want to destroy it that way. Statins lead to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's probably. I don't know how many things statins contribute to, but they contribute to women being diabetic and having cognition problems. And if you can't think, then your brain isn't where it needs to be. Hi, puppy. Need some more love? Come up here and let the whole internet love your little face. Yeah. Internet, meet Dyson. Dyson, meet the internet. All 9 pounds of him. There he is. Well, all 9 pounds of him was in a different video. This is just a little bit. This was just his head and his shoulders. He lets me handle him like that. And he's been in a good mood lately, too. I got a package of Riley's turkey tendons, dried. And they're for dogs to have a stick to chew on that won't get splinters in their mouth or in their guts. We won't want to do that to a puppy dog. He's an old boy. He's really getting on in years. Poor little white-faced chihuahua. He wasn't white-faced when we met. He was just a little blondie. Anyway, I was talking about statins. If you have a sneaking suspicion that they're ruining your life, you're probably right. And don't take my word for it, I'm not a doctor. But you know what? And go see what all the smart people who are doctors have to say about it. I would start with Dr. Anthony Chaffee, Dr. Ken Berry, Professor Bart Kay. I would also play videos by Judy Cho. Nutrition with Judy is the way to search for her on YouTube. Oh, YouTube doctors, blah blah blah. They're gonna kill everybody. No, they're not. They're trying to spread the truth as fast as they can. They want to give you a fighting chance. Now, there are some out there who are bought, and you can tell. Or they're busy selling themselves. Oh, buy this, it's got my name and my face on the label. I've got better things to do than worry about them. And they actually have some good content sometimes too. What up, buddy? Got a problem? You just sitting here to keep me company? You're a good dog. People forget that having a pet often reduces your blood pressure. Sometimes I'm not sure how. Because you could be outside with them because it's time for them to have their afternoon constitutional, and they would like to destroy whatever vehicle has arrived with your Amazon purchases. Or you've got to pick them up and shush them thoroughly, because when the neighborhood kids might be selling Boy Scout popcorn or Girl Scout cookies. Like I said, he's not very well socialized. I tried getting, I'd pick him up and turn him the wrong way around so that kids could pet his back. He didn't like that. But it was easier than the last dog. He liked people well enough, he just didn't like his bath. I had to park on his chain, then bring him outside on his leash, transfer him to the chain that I had already put at exactly the length I needed, and then start cleaning him. That was a big dog. Yeah, that was a big dog. I don't think he ever really topped more than 75 pounds, but he had all the attitude and strength of a big dog. Attitude will do it. Won't it, buddy? Yeah. Attitude does a lot of things. So have some attitude, especially when you're doing all those other things I mentioned, like making decisions for yourself. Have that attitude. Be a feral human. This thing in my hand is sort of a leash or a communications line. Take it as you want it. But you decide how to use it and how much it controls you. Same goes for the television in the house and quite a few other things. I'm hearing roosters down the road. There's not very many reasons to keep roosters, and I know they're not breeding enough chicks to make it matter, which means people are keeping roosters for only one reason. And then those roosters get out and they look for each other. And because they haven't been properly contained, they get out frequently enough. And then the next time someone schedules fights, the one that has gotten out too much might not be available for those fights. Too effing bad. Just because an animal is willing to fight for territory, mates, and whatever, does not mean we have to monetize that. Animals getting hurt and dying, just because somebody wants to make a $5 bet, is not a good thing. I mean, people who do breed their chickens and raise the next round of chicks to keep their egg laying going know that if you've got too many roosters, some of them got to go to freezer camp. Chicken and dumplings, chicken sandwiches, chicken salad, whatever. But just hanging around making noise and fighting them, not so good. And these are the ones that will tear up a kid when the kid gets sent out to feed them. But they're being raised by the same people who think it's wonderful fun to get drunk with their buddies and play loud music that keeps the whole neighborhood up till 4 or even 5 a.m. So no, I don't recommend this neighborhood to anyone. In fact, I'd like to get out of here. That's my best dream. As it is, I go to sleep with a headset on far more often than I should. But I can start music playing and be reasonably comfortable and just drift off. And then, like today, headsets in there, plugged in, charging up in case I have to do it again tonight. Mostly it's not during the week, just on Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday. When we get into the first week of May, it'll be every night. And most of them couldn't even tell you what Cinco de Mayo is, or what city happened to have thrown off the French invaders that were trying to develop a foothold in Mexico after Mexico was tired of Spain and threw Spain off. Puebla, a small town, I hope I see it someday, was that location. But you've actually got to care enough to learn some history for that to matter. Anything that interests you becomes a subject that you can study. And I have the internet in my hand right now. I have access to it. I can look up anything. I can look up what statins do and the mechanism by which it works. And if I don't understand it, I can look up more information. I can understand the liver produces cholesterol and statins prevent it. Well, my body wouldn't be making something I didn't need. I'm a little raspy today. Oh well. Oh, speaking of raspy, anyone who saw yesterday's video, or the day before, yeah, the day before, yesterday's, yeah, boy went off to a doctor appointment, and it's not pneumonia, but he does have a respiratory infection, and it could get there. We don't want it to get there. So the school won't be happy, but he's got respiratory infection as a secondary infection following COVID. And he's got a doctor saying he's not going to school right now. Here's these medications, 3 of them, and he's staying home till he's better. His friends don't need to worry though, because he will be online after school hours, yelling at them, cussing, whatever it is he feels like doing, and probably eating more orange chicken than any boy needs to. It's not made out of the rooster from down the street, although that's probably a good idea. Somebody's driving too fast. And I think I hear a small aircraft and possibly a helicopter. Helicopters don't sound like other aircraft. It's worth learning the difference, especially if you live anywhere between Highway 35 corridor, which includes Temple, and it includes Fort Hood, I think, is the one up there. And the guard base. Oh, yeah, there goes the helicopter. It's a plain black helicopter, and it's traveling east-southeast. I have an idea where it's going, but I'm not going to talk about it. Not a very big one, so it's probably just some dignitary that has to check on something. Officer commuting for the day, I don't know. I'm one of those freakazoids that can hear a helicopter and wake up. And people will look at me and like, I thought you needed a nap so bad. I'm like, helicopter. They go, what helicopter? I'm like, wait for it. And then you hear that helicopter sound. That's okay. That actually started to happen to me. I'm trying to think if that was the end of middle school or the beginning of high school. Oh well. It was funny. Radar O'Reilly syndrome. It had to exist before they decided to inflict it on that MASH character. But that's okay. Alright, I think little doggy is ready to go inside. So am I. I gotta figure out something to eat that he might actually share with me. This is Kismet the Feral Grandma, done with another video. And y'all take care. I want you to be okay. Yep, that's as black can be. And it's heading towards Austin. There's a guard unit in Austin. Maybe Governor Abbott had to go talk to somebody, or just get up in the air for something, take photos of something from up high, send a helicopter, whatever. Got all that nonsense happening down at the border. I imagine there's a lot of black helicopters hanging out that way. I'm not looking for them. They just happen. Anyway. Figure out what it takes to be a feral human and to be a little bit healthy. Or at least be better than you are. Be better than you were yesterday. Semi-retired Bob says be 1% better every day. You may never make it to 100%, but if you can be 1% better, that's still better. That is not a helicopter sound. Oh well. Be the best you can be. And if that's 1% better, if that's moving a little bit more, if that's making an extra trip up and down the stairs because you need to move, then that's better. If you write your shopping list so that it takes you back and forth across the store several times, that's more walking. Do your regular laundry, and then do the sheets in the guest room. Making up the bed gets the arms moving, gets the stretching happening. It's something. I don't have a guest room anymore. I have rooms with grandchildren in them because we can't house them together anymore. They weren't killing each other before, but Bruce, when the older one is hitting the age that he needs a little more privacy, it has to happen. It did not happen in a neat and tidy fashion. I'm like, please don't just throw everything everywhere. No, we have to do it as quickly as possible. Well, he got into the room as quickly as possible and made it a mess as quickly as possible, and everything that got thrown everywhere as quickly as possible. Well, I tried to clean up, and every time I made progress, more stuff got thrown on as quickly as possible. I got tired of it. I decided that's not my problem no more. But I do wish people weren't putting stuff on the treadmill all the time. I would like to use the treadmill. So much stuff. A 5-bedroom home does not need 7 bedrooms worth of crap. And that dog across the street again. Poor guy. And there's little Blondie doing what dogs need to do before we go in, because he knows I was talking about lunch. But it is time to go in. Take care of yourself. Be healthier, be happier, be better. Better than what? I don't know. Be something that makes you better and makes you happier. And take care of yourself. Grandma wants you to be okay.